Okay, hello, Hope. So here's day one, and I don't know, sometimes maybe I'll just email you in some information, and sometimes maybe I'll do these videos to kind of get you started or to introduce what the instruction is going to be, and we'll move forward. I'm just as new as you are as to just exactly what kind of content is going to be presented, but I'm going to tell you this. God is so good because here's what he did. At the beginning of this school year, when Gianna came, she told me, and of course she just took this class last year and took the test, and she told me that her teacher had taught her soapstone, and that's how they analyzed all of their literature, especially the speeches and the other informational text. And I looked at it and I thought, this is really neat. And I noticed that teachers were using soapstone for fiction pieces as well. But it really is best used for nonfiction pieces. And I say that God is good. He's good anyway, but He provided, I feel like, for what you're going to be going through, needing to take this testing and needing to understand how to analyze literature quickly, because in bringing Gianna to our school, he exposed me or led her to say something to me about soapstone, and you've been using it all year. So this teacher is going to reference soapstone. She's also going to reference something else called SpaceCat. And it's just another way to analyze literature and to consider, basically, it's called the rhetorical situation. And so basically it's taking a text, like an informational text, like a speech or a letter. In the case of today, you're going to do a letter, and it's kind of just approaching it like, okay, what is this about? What is the author's purpose? Who is the author? And just considering why the work is generated. Why did the author write this work? And that's all it is. So I feel like she'll explain it in such a way that you will completely catch on and have the background knowledge that you need to have. But if that is not the case, please email me and ask me questions, okay? But we'll see how it goes. So I want to just show you SpaceCat because she makes a reference to that as well. So excuse me for a second while I try to figure out how to get you there. I have it open, but I've got to get out of here somehow. Oh, ah, okay. All right, now let me just make this teacher stop talking for a minute. Sorry, this isn't going to be a very professional video because I need to get this to you quickly, right? So, all right, so here we go. I've just found this. Somebody made this to help his or her students. So this is just another way to remember what you should be considering. So we do this, right? Speaker, purpose, audience, context, exigence. I want to talk to you about that in just a second. Choices, appeals. The choices would be like, what kind of language is the author using? So like we put in literary devices. Appeals would be argumentation, and then tone. Okay, so again, this is other AP English teachers would say, okay, how am I going to help my students remember what they should be considering? Let's use SpaceCat. So Gianna's AP English teacher, and therefore thank the Lord, our using that as a practice this year helps you remember soapstone. Okay, but she does mention exigence, and really we've been doing this. I think you'll agree. We've been considering exigence as well, because what that means is it's just in rhetoric. The term exigence means an issue, problem, or situation that causes or prompts someone to write or speak. So again, this is for informational text, letters and speeches and persuasive papers and argumentation, articles of argumentation and such. It comes from the Latin word demand. It was popularized in rhetorical studies by Lloyd Bitzer in The Rhetorical Situation. Okay, so basically, as we went along, it kind of, to me, it sort of ties into what's the context. like what's going on in the world, what's going on in the author's life. We've been considering that, like what's the driving force behind the work. Okay, so sorry, I just truncated this because I sort of went off on a tangent. So let me see, I'm going to go back to this just for a second and just let you know that this YouTube link right here that is at the bottom of this page is a link that will very quickly bring you up to speed a little more on exigence. Let me just show you. It's really well done, but it's very succinct, which I like for you because I know you're a busy person. So yeah, it's right there. Okay. This is just another teacher just summarizing exigence. Okay. So by the time you look at all of that, I believe that you will be up to speed. Like after you watch this video and then look at that, to what this teacher is going to say. So let me get back to her. All right. And so if you have any questions, let me know. But as you listen, I think a lot of this will harken back to what you already know. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk to you about one more thing, because now you have a teacher that doesn't necessarily have the same viewpoint as we do. And so as I listened to her, I think she did an excellent job. I think that she's a highly effective English teacher. I'm really pleased with your being able to watch her. But she does talk about the exigence in the mother that's writing a letter to her son, John Quincy Adams. So this fits in perfectly with American literature too, because this letter is part of the American literature that we've been studying. But of course, the mother does have a driving force, an intention behind writing her letter. And I just a little bit hope, not too bad, but a little bit, I feel like this teacher isn't quite understanding the honor that we should have for our parents. Okay, now mind you, this mother, this teacher's going to refer to her own mother. And you know, you'll see what I mean. Her mother gives her some advice. And just her tone as she speaks to that, I don't want you to speak ever about your mother in that way. I will never, Lord willing, and never have spoken about my mother in that way, because God tells us to honor our parents. And he doesn't say honor them until you're out of the house either. And so therefore, if my mom gives me advice, I know that God has built wisdom into her. And I know that, yes, it's true. I don't have to obey her about like a bedtime or anything like that, right? I'm an adult now, but I am going to give credence to what she says. I'm going to really consider her valuable advice, because I know it comes from God, and I know that she has spent her life since she was very young searching the scriptures and building wisdom. God has built wisdom in her. I think maybe the mother of John Quincy Adams, I don't know if she's a Christian or not, but she's giving some sound advice too. And so again, I don't think that I don't even know how you interpret the teacher, but when I listened, I kind of felt, I think maybe both John and this teacher should give a little more honor to the advice of mother. And that's all I want to say. I don't want to go on and on about it, but that's the only hesitation that I have about this particular video. But again, I've talked to Mr. Sexton Hope, and I know that, you know, God has already allowed you to be in your family with parents who have been building a strong foundation for the truth in you. And I know that you have to sort through what you hear and what you read, and you have to identify what's true, and you have to see everything through God's perspective, and you do. And so I know that it will be fine for you to listen to this, and then you'll see at the end, you're going to have to respond. Let me see if I can just get there. She's going to go through this whole thing. I love how she kind of walks us through, annotating along the way. And then, let's see, she gives this practice here. This is what you're going to be doing. You're just going to considering basically Olive Soapstone, or considering the rhetorical situation as she has it presented at the beginning, or space cat, like, you know what I mean? Like just considering all of those different elements, you are going to write a couple of letters to sum all of that up, especially considering the exigence of the situation. And she will do a better job articulating it than I, but I look forward to reading what you have in your sentences. That will be like a quiz grade. Your Sycamore is going to look really interesting because you're going to have all these excused assignments, and then you're going to have your assignments, and everybody else is going to have excused. Or I might just like email you and say, this particular assignment is going to be evident in, you know, one of their assignments for the same week or something. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I haven't thought that far ahead. I just know that there is a practice assignment that I can assess for you, and so I will do so. I hope this helps. And I just was like, I hope I'm recording because I do need to get this to you. I don't know. I haven't looked at the clock. This might have been more than a half hour because sometimes I start over a little bit just to make sure I'm saying things correctly. So again, these are going to be really, speaking of which, kind of all over the place a little bit because I'm going to try to get them out quickly to you each day. But anyway, please enjoy this. I think you really will. I enjoyed it. I listened to this one twice just to make sure that I wanted to do this, and then I listened to the following one that you'll watch tomorrow. And so this will be fun to work through with you, and have a wonderful day. Bye.